on West Dakota Fox News at 9. New details in the deadly Amtrak derailment in Washington. Plus, Mandan police officers crossing the river for better pay. But first, the proposed tax bill on the precipice of passing.
This is West Dakota Fox News at 9 with Molly Martinez and meteorologist Henry Blakes. Your first news of the night starts right now on West Dakota Fox News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Molly Martinez. Tonight, the GOP tax package on the verge of victory. Earlier today, it sailed through the House until hitting a roadblock in the 11th hour. Now, a technicality is forcing a do-over. Fox News correspondent Steve Rappaport explains what happened. Just before 5, senators identified a few problems with the bill. Since both the House and the Senate version have to be identical, the House will have to pick it back up tomorrow, where it will likely pass. Today, North Dakota Representative Kevin Kramer released a statement saying, with the passage of the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, Congress just corrected the tax imbalance created by decades of special interest lobbying in Washington. In 2018, North Dakota families across all income levels will keep more of their money. And while many North Dakotans will see more money in their pockets next year, some experts worry about what that means for the deficit and who will end up paying for these cuts down the road.
And high-income people, and even the tax savings that go to low and moderate income people are going to go away in a few years.
Tune in tomorrow. We will have full team coverage of this bill and what it means for you. Time now to take our first check on weather with meteorologist Henry Blakes. Police are looking for a gray Hyundai Santa Fe that was stolen Monday from a home in Bismarck. Police say a 26-year-old woman left the vehicle running to warm it up, and when she came back, it was gone. Officers say the victim also had a blue and black Ruger 9mm handgun in the middle console. The car has damage to the front right side of the bumper, and the license plate number is North Dakota 373BBR. A Minot woman accused of murdering a man in November is getting her hearing pushed back. Prosecutors charged Komiko Gregory for killing a 58-year-old man in an apartment on November 16th. Gregory remains in custody in Minot on $1 million bond. She faces the chance of life in prison if convicted on the AA felony murder charge. Her arraignment is now scheduled for next month. And an update tonight on the ongoing battle between a Ward County and one of their deputies. This morning, another heated back and forth. Today, Deputy Timothy Poston told county commissioners to pay him. He wants compensation for when they placed him on unpaid leave. Poston said he was put on unpaid leave because of a medication he was taking. He says those meds could affect his ability to drive.
That's what you asked the doctor for, his opinion on what my status of the duty is. There's still the question of the back pay and the pay moving forward. Why should I be penalized further when you have the report in hand today?
The commissioner said they would have a special meeting regarding Poston's pay sometime later this week. Speaking of law enforcement, Mandan is short on cops. So short, in fact, the department is saying it could be reaching a critical level. The reason? Many are jumping ship to join the force in Bismarck. Deputy Chief Lori Flatten says many officers leave because the other side of the river offers better pay and benefits. Mandan says its officers a starting salary between $43,000 and $50,000 depending on experience. In Bismarck, the starting salary for officers is between $48,000 and $54,000. Daniela Hurtado joins us from Mandan PD with more. Daniela?
Molly, the police department here in Mandan says they're working really hard with the city to make some changes. Right now, the department has 29 officers and 1 in training. They should be at 37 officers.
In energy news, a proposed refinery near the Theodore Roosevelt National Park has become a hot-button issue among lawmakers. Meridian Energy Group, the company behind the project, obtained a rezoning and conditional use permit from Billings County commissioners back in 2016. The refinery says they plan on processing less than 50,000 barrels a day, but the PSC isn't convinced. Alyssa Dickert was at the meeting today and has the latest. In health news, last month the American Heart Association issued new guidelines for treating high blood pressure. The new guidelines put about 30 million more Americans in range for hypertension, but doctors say only a fraction of them will need medication.
We have to make our own decisions, but we also have to put a little trust that they've done their due diligence, that those guidelines are supported by organizations who are well established. And so every patient's going to be different, and that's why they're a guideline.
The American Academy of Family Physicians has not endorsed the new guidelines. Coming up, picking up the pieces after a deadly derailment in Washington. We'll show you what may have caused this crash. Welcome back. Cleanup crews were at the scene of the deadly train derailment today in Washington. Yesterday, the crash killed 3 people and injured dozens more. Crews working through the early morning hours to remove mangled train cars from the highway. Officials say each train will be loaded up onto a semi-truck and then taken to a separate location for the NTSB to investigate. Federal investigators say the train was traveling at 80 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour zone when it jumped the rails. But the NTSB says it's still too early to tell if speed is what caused the crash. The biggest hurdle for crews dismantling the dangling cars today was Mother Nature.
The weather has not been kind to us during this recovery operation. Obviously, you can see that it's rainy, it's windy. Our field personnel out there that are trying to recover these items, they are miserable, but they are working as safely as they can.
More than 70 people are currently recovering from injuries ranging from serious to non-life-threatening. In Atlanta, the effects of Sunday's power outage at the world's busiest airport are still being felt. Inside the airport today, this was the scene. Hundreds of pieces of lost luggage waiting to be returned to their owners. Georgia Power is investigating what caused the airport to be knocked offline. Officials believe the loss of power may have been caused by a burned cable at an underground facility. The power outage leading to the grounding and canceling of hundreds of flights. This left thousands of passengers stranded in Georgia and across the country. Henry, do you think any of our weather coming up is going to affect holiday travel?
Holiday travel, for the most part, if you talk about the cold, yeah, that probably will, because we're going to have to bundle up.
Welcome back. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says when it comes to public health, no words are off limits. The Washington Post reported Saturday that the Trump administration issued a list of words that the department should avoid using. Some of those words included transgender, fetus, vulnerable, entitlement, diversity, evidence-based, and science-based. Tonight, the Human Rights Campaign and artist Robin Bell projected those words in protest onto the Trump Hotel in Washington, D.C. The last projection was a message from the LGBTQ community saying, "We will not be erased." Time now for another check on weather with meteorologist Henry Blakes.
Hey, thank you. We're talking about winter weather making its way into the region.